Hi, this is the Silly Moustache, and here's my tea mug to prove it. Now, you see in the picture now two Collings 12 fret original dreadnoughts. On the left is a DS1 built in 2008, and on the right is a DS2H built in 2007, so it's a year older-ish, possibly. So just to get that details there. Can I see it? No, I've got it. There we go. Right. So both of these instruments are in very good condition. The DS1 got a lot of play when I first got it in bluegrass bands. This one I tend to play more when I'm playing solo or small combos. So they've had a bit of play. Okay. But I'm not talking about comparing these particular guitars. I'm talking about the strings on them. Now, I've been very conservative about my attitude to strings on my guitars. I use phosphor bronze strings. I use medium gauge strings on my dreadnoughts, and I use light gauge strings on my triple O and everything smaller. Okay. And I used EJ 17s on the dreadnoughts and EJ 16s on my smaller guitars. Very simple life. Okay, I played around, flirted with other brands, always seemed to go back to the Dario. And then they brought out these XS strings, but they're coated, and I don't like coated. Don't need coated, don't want it, don't like it. No. Had bad experiences with another brand when they first came out, and went back to these. I have dry hands, and so a well-used guitar the phosphor bronze uncoated will last me 3 months, and I got into a routine of changing them every 3 months. But then the Dario came out with these XS strings, and I reluctantly tried them, and I really didn't want to like them, but I did. I really did. So I bought a batch of medium gauge 1356, and those went on my 3 dreads and my Royce Mech Jumbo, and I bought a batch of 12 to 53 lights that went in on my triple O and my double O's, and etc, etc. Right, you get the picture. Okay, fine. And then the Dario sent me these. These are called Light Plus. Light Plus. Right, so what I've done, I know that some people will put light gauge strings on dreadnoughts, which I always thought was a very strange thing to do. But these guitars of similar age with XS strings, one's got medium gauge, which is what I've always used, and one's got these Light Plus. And I've got a blue chip TAD 50 here, and I'm just going to play a little bit on both of them and have a listen. I mean, yes, this is mahogany and that's rosewood, so there is going to be a tonal change, but this is the closest I could get. Medium gauge strings. Both of them want to keep singing once I put them down, just keep going on and on and on. There have been no fundamental changes to these guitars, apart from the fact that I like bone bridge pins. Neither of them have any amplification in them. So let's talk about these 2 sets of strings, or these 3 sets of strings. So the gauges of these strings, for light gauge, you will probably know and be able to recite these along with me. E's, 12s, B's, 16s, G's, 24, D, 32, A, 42, E53. 12, 16, 24, 32, 42, 53. Okay. Mediums, 13, 17, 26, 35, 45, 56. Light plus, not 12, not 13, but 12 and a half. That's an extra 1/1000th of an inch. B, not 16, not 17, but 16 and a half. G string, 24, not 24, not 26, but 24 and a half, not 25. D string, not 32, not 35, but 34. So that's 2 thousandths thicker than the light gauge and 1 thou thinner than the medium. This just gets confusing. The A string, not 42, not 45, but 44, 1 thou. The E string, 53, not 53, not 56, but 54. Okay, so what does that mean in collective tension? Lights are 156.29 pounds tension collectively. Mediums are 180.7. 156.29 lights, 180.7 mediums. The light plus, 172.82. So there's obviously a verging towards the medium. So they're only a little lighter, and they're mostly lighter, it would seem, on the treble strings, but that's just a perception. So for a man of exceeding age with old arthritic hands and a couple of joints that are packed up all together and things like that, what would I use? Well, I've tried the Light Plus on this one, and I don't know whether I like them or not, or whether, you know, there's actual understanding of them and there's perception. If I picked that up, would I, and I didn't know of the guitar, I'd say, oh, these have got lights, got Light Plus. No, I wouldn't. It's very early in the morning, my fingers are stiff. Another perception, I've always felt that this mahogany one was actually brutally loud, a bit louder than the rosewood one, and that the rosewood one, this one is a little bit more musically. A little bit more music, if that makes sense. So, being aware that some people will put light gauge strings on a dreadnought, which confuses me, but it will be playable, of course, and that I tend to follow the advice of the makers of the guitars. Now, Collings always say that they're sent out, that dreadnoughts are sent out with medium gauge EJ17s. That's it. And I've looked at Gibson recently. They seem to put light gauge on everything regardless of size. I suppose it depends on the way you play them. But what do you think? So I'll put these details in the description below, and I await your comments with interest. If you have been, thanks for watching.